All right. As
Hello and welcome.
yeah. Hi. How's it, guys? As far as it would say, and we're live.
That's true.
Yeah. So this time around, this is our episode number 10 of the Tesla Community Channel, and tonight it's just Julian and I. We're just going to have a little catch up. We're going to have a little browse through some highlights through 2022, and we're just going to have a chat. So feel free to jump in and enjoy the ride with us. Yeah. So, Julian, how have you been?
Yeah, actually, great. And especially, I think 2022 is not only an important year for Tesla, as um, we all know, especially due to the macro environmental challenges, but also for this channel, as we started this channel like half a year ago. And actually, that's why I'm also really happy that we can have a short recap of the year and also talk about our own experiences. As I mean, we were already invested in what Tesla is doing, how things are going, but being part of a content creator, actually making calls about recent events or inviting people from the community. I think this really deepens our relationship to the whole mission, and it's also why we're doing this channel, right?
Mm.
Accelerating the mission of Tesla, and that's why I think it's a great idea for us to have this recap.
Yeah, nice one. Hey, and like you're saying, it's just deepening our relationship to the Tesla community in general, and giving us a chance to sort of just get involved. And like we've sort of been saying all along the way, this is generally we're relatively new to this game. Just only about a half year in. But and as we tend to talk about from time to time, the whole idea behind this channel is really just to help promote the conversation. And it's not always to dive straight into very high tech details, but really also to just bring the conversation down to layman's terms in terms of what we understand. We're a couple of pretty busy guys. We both have families. We both have full time jobs and that type of thing. But yeah, we're just keen to like keep this conversation going. So and promote it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
As you can already see, at least you the viewers, uh, we got like actually got a third party, which is my second browser I use, um, which has three different tabs open. So the first one is the official Tesla account, and they had a short recap of the year 2022. And our idea is to scroll through it, have a look at what they talked about, and then share our thoughts about it, as well as by Herbert Ong. There's this list, which is a bit more detailed in some regard,
yeah.
but maybe we can also draw some aspects from the Q4 earnings call, which was just released yesterday, and yeah, see where this is going. And if there's anybody listening or coming along this live talk, you can also share your ideas, and we're happy to have you. So
Yeah, this is an inclusive conversation that we're happy to share.
absolutely.
So yeah, so
Let's just start right away with
yeah,
going through that,
yeah,
right? Yeah. So, yeah, of course, the expansion in all regards of all businesses of Tesla is going forward, especially as they talk about the supercharger network, which I think there's this dedicated supercharger network update Twitter feed, and they are posting so many sites where they're installing or upgrading Tesla superchargers. It's really
mm,
inspiring to see, because the more you see that, the less range anxiety you actually can have. Or you can also say, just look at the map of available superchargers, and basically
yeah,
everybody who's doubting that EVs are really working for long way travel, you can just point to
yeah,
that data, and it's basically gone already.
yeah, and a shout out to Zach and Jesse on Now You Know
Hmm.
and their channel and how they always cover off where all these new superchargers keep popping up, and they've got such a nice way of inviting. people to just go and do little 2 minute supercharger reviews, and then they sort of sift through them and they throw them up on their show, and it's very cool. And a great idea to kind of bring home the fact that uh, this network is real, and that this is
Yeah.
like and it's a good reliable solution for, like Julian is saying, making long distance journeys a reality, totally obliterating range anxiety, and would be nice to be able to say the same for alternative charging networks.
Yeah.
Although we do, I mean, we hearing things about the level of reliability, but it's encouraging at least that um, Tesla may be opening their supercharger network up to other EVs and that kind of
Yeah.
progress, and hopefully, the whole EV move, not just Tesla, but across the board, will become a really positive thing for, for our planet. So, yeah, yeah, it's always exciting to hear about how the supercharger network is growing. At
Yeah.
least when you're kind of when you've learned a little bit more, I suppose, about the whole community. It's a I know often guys talk about and girls talk about supercharger network not being a massive topic of discussion in mainstream media,
Yes.
um, and it sort of alludes to the argument about Tesla being regarded as just a car company, and whereas actually they're involved in a considerable, considerably more than just producing vehicles.
Yeah.
But
It's like
yeah,
having like a one of the, as they are often called, legacy OEMs. You know, having gas stations, right?
yeah,
And I don't know about any legacy automaker who has like gas stations, but Tesla really expands it, and of course, most of them are aware that there needs to be like an EV charging infrastructure
yeah,
to make the customers really feel comfortable with doing that. And yeah, as
yeah,
it says here, you're opening the supercharger network to non Tesla EVs in many European countries already now, also in Germany. I think this is really encouraging for the EV transition overall, right? This is not
yeah, exactly.
building out this giant Tesla only network, but making it accessible to everyone is, I think, really goes back to the original mission idea of accelerating the world's transition towards sustainable energy overall, right? It's not about
Yeah,
the Tesla cars only.
and that
So
they've
I think,
thought about it. Yeah, they're not, well, not just thought about it, but actually taken steps to implement this infrastructure, which makes the whole EV move more realistic, to say the least. And yeah, nice comment there, D. Just chiming in there. Yeah, we agree. 400K FSD users in the US and Canada already. I mean, wow, it's just it's crazy. I mean, yeah, you're trying to think back to the days when they just had a handful of test users, and that wasn't really that long ago. And now all of a sudden, that's
yeah,
that's going on. But yeah, that's like adds to the pile. I wouldn't be.
absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, looking back, 2022 was ramping up in terms of users of FSD who are sharing their videos. Or many of them are sharing the videos and insights, and you can actually see how it is improving because they are driving the same uh, streets again, and the same corner cases, and sometimes there are, of course, there's some regression, but often you see progress, and overall, this really makes it understandable why, for example, Elon Musk is so bullish on FSD
yeah,
really working out. And yeah, the more videos I watch, I mean, Omar from Whole
yeah.
Mars
Big
blog,
shout out
he's
to Omar. Yeah, his videos are awesome.
yeah, he's constantly tweeting about it and posting videos. Here's his link to his YouTube channel as
Yeah,
well,
nice one.
and you can really see the progress. And yeah, I can't wait for it to actually be enabled here as well in Europe. But for
Yes.
now, there are some people on the so-called TFF, which is a Tesla fans and friends. That was translated. Actually, it's in German, but it's a forum, and there
Hmm.
are some people who have some knowledge of the EU regulators and their meetings, how they are actually working on making this possible in the EU. But so far, it looks like it will only start, like in 2025.
Mm,
So it's
yeah.
still a long way out, but it's great to see the American progress regardless. And I'm sure Tesla has like internal testing by employees in Europe already, but of course not with 400K people.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. And hopefully, I mean, and I totally get it. I agree. I mean, the regulatory hurdles are stupendous in many parts of the world. But if you keep weighing that back against, well, lives being saved, it's going to be very quickly become a very awkward conversation, for any part of the world to try to sort of stall this kind of progress, um, and not just for FSD, but for all of the functionality and safety features that are just becoming run of the mill. I really like that point that Elon was saying is their whole objective is don't crash. you know, and yeah, I'm kind of behind that mission. Um, one thing pops in my head at the minute is not too long ago I sort of had a chance to just drive a test vehicle, which was not an EV. Okay, it was a petrol VW car, but it was the first time I had a chance to just experience the functionality that just follows and keeps the distance with the car in front of you.
yeah,
And it suddenly struck me, it's it's quite a leap of faith for Omar and for all of the FSD users to sit in this vehicle and not put your foot on the brake, but allow the vehicle itself to slow down as the vehicle in front of you is slowing down. And that's just one tiny little idea. And to have, like you're saying, 400,000 people out there all willing to go through that learning curve and to 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 familiarize themselves with, okay, and to put that like sort of level of faith in this machine to actually keep them safe is
yeah,
it's actually really sobering. It's like, yeah, this is it's not just like a new toy. This is something that actually has people's lives in its hands, and is now going not just that far, but going so much further to actually reverse the annual sort of death rate, to be very blunt,
yeah,
which we've
absolutely.
all
I mean,
become so comfortable with in a way. But yeah, you were saying, Julian.
yeah, you don't. I mean, you don't have to use it. So people are actually actively choosing to use FSD beta for now in the US and Canada. And if there are 400,000 people who say, this is actually, working for me, at least in some areas, not on all streets and so on. That's clear. But I think this is really making things look really bullish in terms of safety and how comfortable it is.
Yeah, yeah, and you hear a lot about, and this is one of the things I really personally look forward to myself, and also like you, Julian, I have the same hope for FSD to make its way over here into the UK as well. Is I would just love the idea of going on a holiday and kind of just letting the vehicle just handle all of that traffic and and congestion and all the stuff that it's just it's fatiguing, and
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Okay, let's go on with our
yeah.
recap.
Let's
Maybe just one little addition to the supercharger network. Just a few minutes ago, I looked through my Twitter feed because today I saw one video which just showed how easy it is. You just take the cable, plug it in, walk away, right? And for all the other yeah EV charging stations, you need to kind of register, do some active charging decision, make sure it really starts, and so on. So yeah, I think
point.
Tesla is doing a great job, and they also released this patent made it open source for everybody to have this North American charging standard, which is also very encouraging to have EV startups maybe use this, because then automatically they can easily tap into Tesla's supercharger network, which is automatically, I think, a huge selling point for any EV, especially if you're having these road trips, especially in the
Mm.
US with a huge distance. I mean, we here in Europe, I mean, especially the UK or Germany, it's like a joke to them, right? It's one state.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
don't really need that much, but in the US, it's vital to have that.
Yeah,
And
yeah. No one suffers range anxiety like the folks who are living in the US, where you've got such a wide expanse of land and states
yeah,
where you, know, you can't afford to have your range compromised. You got to
yeah.
get to your destination.
So
Yeah,
maybe
cool.
adding to what you taught us about FSD being more and more safe, yeah, it also shows like the all the models show the highest overall weighted safety scores from Europe NCAP under the current protocol, meaning that the tests are all on the top level, meaning that's really safe car. And what I also got to know firsthand is the cameras, even in Europe. We
Yeah,
don't have FSD yet, but they're already reacting to likely impacts. And so there was somebody about to tailgate me, and the car automatically drove away from them on the autobahn, which was 130 kilometers an hour, which
yeah.
is quite
Wow.
fast. So I was really happy about that, and this is just the part of the active safety control, and the passive ones, especially with the structural parts of the vehicle that
Yeah,
are now being implemented with the batteries, but also the front and rear castings. I think this will never
yeah.
stop, like making them sure, because as Elon is saying, safety is their overall concern for the vehicles, and that's really the key goal
Yeah,
here.
yeah, and there's that recent story about the vehicle that basically one of a Tesla that plummeted off of a 250 odd foot cliff, and you just look at the face of the rescuers, especially the guy that was being interviewed, and how he was saying, "Yeah, we see this sort of thing happen all too often at that specific place, but the surprise and how quickly they reacted to the situation when they realized that the people in the vehicle were still alive."
Yeah,
And it's just one small testament to that safety is not just a pretty word at Tesla. It's like a really it really is a big deal. So yeah,
absolutely.
quick shout out to Brad.
Yes,
He's yeah,
happy to have you here.
yeah,
We're
nice.
doing this recap of 2022, and you
Yeah,
were on one of our episodes. Actually, I don't know which one it was,
yeah, it was
to
one
be
where we were
honest.
talking about safety. Actually,
Yeah.
we were talking about yeah, we had a great conversation with Brad actually in episode 6. We're talking about yeah,
Oh,
safety
yeah,
was the
that's true. 6.
yeah, yeah, and yeah, Brad gave us some terrific insights into the reality of road traffic accidents and the impact on people's lives, and the seriousness of the medical challenges that come out of the whole situation. And yeah, we had a great conversation. In fact,
Yeah,
I think we should be catching up with you again sometime, Brad. Yeah, it's nice to have you with us for a quick recap.
that's for sure. And if Omar is watching, you give this man a ride in your FSD beta car. Uh, so
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
mandatory.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Everybody needs a ride in a Tesla. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's go on. Yeah, shipping over the air, software updates. I mean, that's pretty much standard. I mean, we're adding new features, making it
mm,
safer. But sometimes even we can also we don't need to sugarcoat things. But there in Europe there was this there some updates are pushing crib links to FSD because they need to abide to
yeah,
some strange law again, which makes it like super hard for me, for example, to go to the off ramp of a highway
hmm
because you need to confirm it several times, and yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
mean, this is
think
not Tesla's fault here in this example. They're also sometimes shipping bugs, but overall, there's a huge improvement. And my wife actually she uses this car a lot, also for driving our kids around. And they want to listen to music, and the music player used to be like a bit far away from where your hands are on the wheel.
hmm
So now they moved it to the bottom left corner of the touchscreen in the middle. So it's much closer now, and that's of course something easy to do with a software update, and if you don't have knobs.
yeah, yeah, cool. Yeah. And on the topic of over the air updates, it's amazing to see how often it has to the sort of it has to be sort of corrected in the mainstream, sort of making mention that there's a big recall and thousands of vehicles have been recalled,
Yeah,
and how often is it that been the case that actually they've just been um, glitches or bugs that non-life threatening that have been very easily resolved via an over-the-air update. And it's yeah, I suppose it's just that's sort of that's got to do with that Tesla being good clickbait in the mainstream media, and
yeah. It's
if
also,
you
I mean,
put
it's
Tesla and
also
recall together,
terminology.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
they have to use this official terminology, which is a recall, and then it is a recall. And yeah, of course, the media just loves it because it generates clicks for more ad revenue.
yeah, yeah, controversy. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So I think this is a great point here. So
hmm
yeah, hosted our second AI day and introduced Tesla Bot to the world, which
yeah,
I think was really remarkable in many regards. Seeing how within several months, I mean, they posted this timeline of having ideas about it, then work, fixing together some kind of prototype, and already having like a basic, basically
mm,
working. Prototype which is able to walk and look around its environment. They showed some demos, but it's not sure how much it was kind of staged, how how easy it actually is
mm,
for the
mm,
robot to do that. And yeah, I think overall that was quite impressive. And there was this talk with James Dermer and Dave Lee.
yeah,
It was like a 2 hour deep
yeah,
dive into these three segments of AI Day 2. And
yeah,
one was just talking about the actuators and what actuators are, how they work, and so on. And that was really impressive because James Dermer just does just a fantastic job as
yeah. Shout
of
out to Dave and
explaining it.
James. Yeah,
Yeah, for me this was actually like a highlight of the year.
hmm
So he had this leg actuator, for example, to being able to lift 500 kilos of a grand piano.
yeah. Just
Uh,
sort of, yeah, yeah,
just showing you it was just one actuator, and the robot will have two of them, and so it can basically lift a lot of weight, I think. And this really shows that they are working, building this as a working horse, and
yeah.
makes
And
me
going and continually going back to first principles. Sort of designing
yes,
every part of it from scratch. Is and then seeing, yeah, I again appreciate how sort of mainstream media would kind of look at the picture and go, "Oh, you had this clunky thing kind of hobble across the stage, big deal, right?" But
yeah,
if you had to kind of do a little bit of research, you realize it's a very short space of time they were brave enough to showcase something physical. It's not a mock-up. It's not a CGI, image. And if as you get to know how these guys operate at Tesla, it becomes very sobering to realize that wow, they just wasn't that just a little while ago they were like, yeah, we're going to make a Tesla bot, and I also had a great time watching AI Day 2, and just what you can infer from what the future holds and how that impacts the concept of an economy.
yeah, that's true. I have a quote on that actually.
Awesome,
So
awesome.
economy equals the productive entities time multiplied by the output, which is like
Which
again
is
just a basic principle
yeah,
of the economy. And so if you have like a giant bot army, you're being able to produce and manufacture and do stuff that you find is too dangerous or too
mm,
tedious or too repetitive or boring to do for a human. Yeah, it might become quasi infinite
And
actually.
and the missing piece is almost not so much to do with the physicality of it, is really to do with the brain. Is the ability to just take sort of the software that has been has come along so incredibly with the vision system on vehicles for FSD, and how transferable that has been, so quickly transferable that has been, into this sort of the testing or the prototype versions of Tesla bot. Um, and I think someone was saying it. They were commenting. I think one. I don't know if it was one of the engineers on AI Day 2 or something. But someone along the line was commenting how funny it was that the Tesla bot is walking through a room and it's thinking it's a car, you know,
Yeah,
but it's
that's
still
true.
using the same principle, the same software to negotiate its immediate environment, reach out and pick up a watering can, or you know, and move through a crowded room, or you know, and that kind of thing. It just um, I think if you get enthusiastic about it, it just clicks that yeah. I mean, all the stuff that Andre Kapathi and the whole team, and you know everyone that's been involved in producing full self driving and producing the software, that the pure vision software, and how transferable that is, just makes just these inferences and the realization that okay, this could be a very very profound change. I think Elon himself is feels pretty confident about the car element of Tesla becoming like a small part of Tesla, you know, in the
Yeah,
future. Whereas things like the Tesla bot would literally make you ask the question: does an economy have a limit? And you know, when in terms of a workforce, in terms of people or machines carrying out labor, carrying out processes, and that's just like yeah,
yeah. This
pretty
was actually one of my highlights for the last year because I'm also a huge fan of science fiction and everything related to that, and actually having like
yeah, you
AI
got to
powered robots, it's being actually in prototype stage at Tesla, the most advanced engineering company in the world. It's just incredible to think about the actual potential of that.
it's like you've got a Star Wars walker in the background of your image there, Julian, and Tesla could probably go one step further and have one walk by itself without a controlling human in the head. You know?
Yeah, there was somebody saying actually you can use the FSD software um, to put it into any kind of camera-based object, right? And
Vehicle
it
of
will
yeah,
know, yeah, vehicle or whatever you want to call it, and it will
yeah,
just know its surroundings. So basically, like a Roomba, for example, and it could have like perfect vision all around and make your house extra tidy. But of course, you
yeah,
don't need that if you have a robot walking around. But yeah, you could put it in a plane, for example. And I mean, most planes don't need vision to fly, as most of it doesn't require vision. But
yeah,
you could, yeah, or a drone, whatever. You can put it
yeah, yeah.
anywhere.
And with total appreciation for all sorts of technologies out there that give a robot of some kind some level of autonomy, um, you know, it's an exciting future in general.
Yeah,
It's just that I think from AI Day 2, um, and from Tesla's perspective, and just the passion they have for how far they push the technology to say actually we don't need um, the extra bells and whistles. Vision alone should be able to manage just purely based on software. Just gives you that extra kind of boost to say, yeah, you know, actually this could be a pretty pretty profound future we're just about to step into.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's continue on.
Yeah.
Yeah, open the mega factory in Lathrop.
Mm.
Um, capable of producing 10,000 megapacks units a year. So maybe for somebody who's not that familiar with it, a megapack is basically there for energy storage. For example, if you
Stationary.
have, yeah,
Yeah.
stationary energy storage. So if you have like too much energy being produced by some solar plants, you can just store it there in case you need it later on, or yeah, also offsetting peaks. And this is something that you, as Elon just yesterday, I think, had on his talk about the new Giga Nevada expansion,
Mm.
where he says there are these three pillars of making the world transition towards sustainable energies, like having the transport as this is the biggest impact on the global emissions
Mm.
as electric. Then you need the energy
Energy
production,
generation.
generation, yeah,
Yeah. And
making
then
it
storage.
renewable. And yeah, of course, you need to store it as the wind doesn't always blow and the sun doesn't always
Yeah.
shine.
Yeah.
And yeah,
And
this mega factory, at least from what I saw, especially in terms of the assessments by analysts, um, is that Tesla Energy is now actually starting to ramp up. I mean, they used to have these
mm,
solar roofs and so on, which are quite nice, but yeah, it's not that much of a part of the big business share. Thinking about it as an economically viable part of the business. But if you have like the mega factory producing these mega packs, they are already selling it to countries that, for example, Australia, that are using this to make their inhabitants safe in terms of power outages. And we saw this as well in Texas with the huge storms and snowfalls and so on.
yeah, it's I can appreciate sort of the average idea, on the average idea on the street sort of was like, oh yeah, solar and wind, and it's all very nice and fluffy and green, but it's not really a reality that's ever going to take hold. And the suggestion would be to read a little bit more into how how the storage is working out, how these mega packs and how these batteries are actually being manufactured, how Tesla have gone to incredible lengths to reduce the amount of waste that is produced from manufacturing batteries, how the costs and that are coming down, and how recyclable the materials are. You just go and catch up with JB Strawball and the guys there that are at it's Redwood, it's Redwood Materials or something. Hey,
Yes.
sorry, um, who are who are not only convinced but will demonstrate how recyclable battery material is. And if you pull these various inferences together in your mind, even if just as a hypothesis, you begin to realize that, okay, we're probably going to get to a point where, sure, we're going to be mining these materials to make batteries, but we might actually reach a point where the recyclability of the materials used in batteries re- reduces the need to mine more materials.
Yeah.
So and it's um and if yeah, if you couple these ideas in your mind, it begins to be more of a possibility to say, oh, okay, hang on, we're not just making electric cars and then charging them off of fossil fuel burning um, um, uh, electricity generation facilities. Actually, it's the whole package. It's looking at how, like, exactly like you're saying, Julian, those three pillars. It's including the generation of clean energy and the storage, and then you start to realize, okay, these are the missing pieces. So as there was once upon a time, it was the case that yes, tree huggers were very light and fluffy about solar and wind, and it was all very like thing. And you could actually 20 years ago you could buy into that argument and say, yeah, well, that's true because the wind doesn't always blow and the sun doesn't always shine, and we don't have like these like super battery stations and things. And now there's a serious answer to all of
Yeah.
the related questions, and it's like, okay, I'm going to really stop and think about this now. And it's maybe start even dispelling some of the some of what we've been kind of spoon fed over the years, in terms of what reality actually is.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
anyway, yeah, yeah, you
Yeah,
were saying,
let's continue on our list. Just to make sure we don't overextend on the time because there are so many things to recap.
it's true.
So yeah, delivered our first Tesla semis, which are the semi trucks, and as was mentioned by Elon Musk as well yesterday, I think, but also previously to that, even though the share of electric trucks is only small in comparison to the cars, they actually produce like 20% of the emissions,
Yeah.
because they are always driving around delivering goods, and with this huge cargo on their backs, they of course need to have lots of energy, which if it's not electric, emits a lot of emissions. And then
Mm.
yes, seeing this, I think the first five ones were delivered to Pepsi, and
Mhm. Mhm.
of course, this is also some great marketing for Pepsi. They want to appear as they're environmentally friendly.
Yeah.
Also, you could always debate, in terms of winning the water produced to make these drinks. Especially, I think the Coca-Cola company has this stigma to it. But
Yeah.
regardless of that, I think it's really great. And just yesterday, there was this announcement of Giga Nevada, with a
Mm.
huge expansion and investment into making it suitable for producing many more batteries, but also having
Mm.
like a mass production of Tesla semis, as they might actually be really interesting for a huge part of the
Mm.
economy. And if you think about the FSD option again, referring back to the start of our talk,
Mm.
um, if you have them, as a fleet running close to each other, um, all the way through the America, for example, with its vast landscape, and I think that's really a great idea to really promote these kinds of transportation, as they really make up a significant part of the emissions.
Yeah, totally. Hey, and there, what comes to mind for me right now is, uh, again, it's the psychology of, so big names like Bill Gates and people like, prominent people were kind of poo-pooing the idea of Tesla semis,
Yeah,
and having that level of range with a full load of 80 or 82,000 uh, pounds, um, and being able to make the distance, being able to get that load there. And now, um, once again, I mean, hats off to Pepsi, and I agree with a lot of people that have been talking about them having made a one of those really sort of 4D chess moves, in booking what, about 100,000 units.
yes,
Yeah, I mean, just you start looking at just a few numbers, and you just start thinking about the stupendous cost of fuel alone,
yeah.
uh, coupled with the rise of fuel prices, coupled with so many factors that just make it seem like, yeah, Pepsi are on a roll,
Yeah, and
literally.
if you really go all in on this idea, um, if you equip your warehouses um, to make them be able to charge the semi trucks while they're offloading the goods, and also taking new goods, um, it's like a no-brainer, right? You don't even need to go to the gas station anymore. And
Mm.
if you, I mean, most of the times they will probably have these huge storage houses. How do you say that in English?
Yeah,
Storehouses,
warehouses. Yeah,
warehouses. Yeah, thank you.
yeah.
You can just put lots of solar on it, and so you can basically generate your own energy for the semi
Charge.
trucks
Yeah,
of your fleet.
yeah. So it's kind of it's. I also found that that announcement of the delivery of the first Tesla semis just mind blowing. Just and again, one of those, another one of those many uh, announcements from Tesla that seem to sort of just slide right on under the radar of sort of the mainstream.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, maybe that's a good thing, because they're not gonna be able to pump out millions uh, of semis immediately. They have to ramp up that production line. But yeah, having getting on board with Pepsi and seeing how genuine the guys were at Pepsi when they got on stage, they had a few words to share, just a few things, and they were seemed so genuine, and they were like so appreciative and so excited about this venture of
Yeah, that's true.
that they were entering into with Tesla. And yeah, yeah, that is another big one. Yeah.
Okay, so we already talked about the North American charging standard.
Mm.
Launched Tesla Electric in
Yeah,
Texas.
and for anyone who is maybe a little unfamiliar about the American charging standard, the North American charging standard was basically Tesla's own charger design has become the North American charging standard, and that's yeah, it's
It,
basically their plug is like the standard, which is yeah, it's a pretty big deal. But anyway,
I
yeah,
mean,
sorry, you were saying.
yeah, just to add to that, I mean, de facto, they are like this charging standard because they have the most charging stations in North America, for example, or balls in Europe. But they want to have everybody adopt this technology to make sure that it's easy. I mean, if you look at the design, it's way smaller, much easier to handle, and so on, in terms of taking it into your hand and plugging it into your vehicle than these CCS versions, for example, are that we have here in Europe. And I know that in America there are also these strange abominations,
Sort of
you
big
could say. And
clunky devices that
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
sort of, yeah.
Okay, let's go on. Yeah, of course they're always ramping up the production at Giga Texas and Giga Berlin, as they're still uh, very relatively new to mass production.
Mm,
Here it says 3,000 Model Ys a week in mid-December. I think on the quarterly earnings report, they also talked about uh, that number. I
hmm.
actually can't remember where it was, but
Sure.
wait, I think down here somewhere.
And yeah, whenever
It's
we get the time to kind of go through any of this material, um, it's precious time. But yeah, uh,
yeah, I hear it says so. So
yeah.
Model Y production line in Germany produced over 3,000 vehicles in a week towards the end of Q4. And yeah, of course, adding like these new colors is also new complexity, but also very appealing, as new colors are always appreciated and they always look like super dope.
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah, yeah, yeah. All the new stuff coming out. Yeah.
yeah,
I,
okay,
I
we
I
already
just
talked
remember.
about
I
the
just remember.
15.
I love how casual Elon was a little while ago, and he was saying when he was commenting on the new factories and saying, "Yeah, think of them as huge money furnaces," which is really just to say that while they're busy ramping up, yeah, they're gonna cost more than they make until they're
Yeah,
at until they reach capacity. But yeah, I just like the way Elon just sort of just blats it out there, just
yeah, that's true. Okay, we already kind of teased the 4680 cells with new production lines on that. I mean, they're
mm,
still, they're kind of lacking behind from what I understand, especially if you have a look at Jordan Giesecke and his channel, The Limiting Factor, where he exclusively, or mostly, just talks about batteries. And
mm,
he even got like prototypes of them and disassembled them, or had them disassembled for him and analyzed in terms of what they are made from. And he, I think he has already two generations, one from the teardown of Monroe and Associates, who had like a 2022 Model Y from Giga Texas. And he can actually see like uh, the output is not as it was actually thought it would go, but they're still ramping up as fast as possible,
mm.
and eventually I think the it will win regardless of
Mm.
any headwinds that are they might be facing right now. But yeah, what do you
Yeah,
think?
I mean, if you think back to Battery Day, um, it was definitely an ambitious undertaking. Um, but if you get to appreciate uh, Tesla and their and SpaceX and all the teams that work under Elon, essentially, you get to realize that they aren't shy. They will put something out there and they will bat away at it until it actually uh, um, meets whatever the criteria they went in with in the first instance.
Yeah.
And it's not just about creating a new battery inside; it's about massively reducing the footprint of 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 sort of waste material and and processes that that go into producing the cells. So
Yeah, that's
they,
true. And
they're
energy
tackling,
density as like the primary factor, of course.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Hey, and it's that they're not just tackling one small aspect of it and at the cost of something else. They really go right back to first principles again and really rework the thing and boldly sort of stand up amongst industry leaders of in battery technology, and they're not shy to not exactly say we're better than you, but rather to say we could do this better. We could all be doing this a lot better. We could all be. Uh, Tesla's mission isn't necessarily Tesla's mission alone. It's kind of
Yeah, it's true.
it's a global incentive, um, and the benefits. They they're not just for Tesla. They're not just for the Tesla community. They it's a it's a global level benefit for
Yeah.
long term sustainability.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, as they try to transition the world, right? They need to have everybody on board, and that's why they go to all their suppliers, and they actually like crawling up the supply chain, talking to many people involved, and also urging them to really increase their output by while at the same time trying to make it as environmentally friendly as possible, but also economically interesting. And they are offering these long-term contracts. And I think every company is thrilled to work with Tesla because they know with that comes a great
Yeah, exactly.
outcome
Hey,
eventually.
like it's been spoken about with their relationship with Panasonic and major battery
Yeah.
producers, them saying, "Look, we're going to be making our own batteries in house, but rest assured, we will buy whatever you can give us."
Yes.
And if
Exactly.
you look at the scale of what they want to achieve, the level of output that they want to produce, not just for cars or semis, but for stationary storage, that's megapacks, that's power walls, that's so many other uses. It makes perfect sense that they're just sort of helping nudge the situation forwards. I don't know massive amounts about it, but I believe they have the 4680 cell, sort of the formula for producing 4680 cells is not exclusive to Tesla. I think there are other um, manufacturers that would be sort of almost copying copying the plan.
Yeah, they're actually. I think yeah, it's. I mean, 4680 is just a form factor, so
Mm,
I don't think
mm,
you can really patent that.
yeah,
But what makes Teslas unique, at least what I get from Jordan Gisicki's limiting factor channel, is that they are iterating a lot, as they are with every part of their business, but especially on the chemistry, right? And they're not shy to try out new or unusual ways to have the chemistry in the battery, of course, depending on the use case, right? If you need like long range or performance vehicles, you need lots of nickel or at least some nickel in it, while for standard range cars, you don't need it at all. So you can just use iron, for example. And I think this is really encouraging to see that they are thinking on all fronts. As
mm,
yesterday, I think Zach Kirkhorn said on the earnings call, they're attacking everything. Right.
yes, yes. They're leaving no,
He
literally
just said
leaving
it
no
like
stone unturned.
nonchalant on a side note, but I think it was a really deep statement about what Tesla is actually doing, attacking everything. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter. No, leave nothing unturned, no screw, no
yeah,
idea unturned, and
yeah.
that's really inspiring to see. I think overall, and especially with the headwinds of 2022, with a massive yeah, global challenges we had, especially here in Europe, with the
Yeah,
energy crisis due to
yeah,
Russia's
Be-
invasion of Ukraine,
yeah,
and everything was connected to that. And of course, this
yeah,
impacted Giga Berlin as well, right? It wasn't
yeah,
even sure for some time whether they will get enough, energy to keep on the production. Maybe in Germany there was lots of debate about how to prioritize who would get energy still in terms of if there was a crisis with Russia that would really impact Germany as a
yeah,
whole,
and the
and
provision
especially the
of
industries.
yeah, yeah, exactly, yeah, exactly, and the provision of energy to Germany and other places.
Yeah,
And then there's been a pretty significant downturn in some major tech stocks, and this sort of threat of a potential recession, you know, and yeah, lots of yeah, like you say, lots of headwinds.
yeah,
The guys still attack everything, and
yes,
it's yeah, I, I like what I really like the simplicity with which Elon himself sort of describes to say, well, if there's a way for us to promote a good outcome, then we must we must do something about it.
yeah,
And it's very different to saying we're going to beat our competitors. You know, it's really just saying if there's a course of action that can have a significant impact on a good outcome, we will pursue that course of action.
yeah. It's like a
And
moral
that
imperative.
yeah, and yeah, exactly. Yeah, to chime in with Zach's, we will attack everything. So yeah, yeah, it makes sense. It's yeah, it's good to know. It's good to follow it. So yeah, the batteries, hey,
Yeah. So we're now at the end of the
the thread.
Tesla thread on 2022. Maybe we can have a look at some of the points that Herbert Ong, or Tesla Herbert as he's called,
Yeah,
shares in his you know, what is it
yeah,
called, milestones list. It is a bit outdated. I think last update was like at the end of October, but we can maybe still find some things here and there,
yeah, yeah, and
talking
it's
about various parts, like yeah, okay, Giga Berlin launch, we already talked about that. Stock split. I mean, yeah, we can talk about the stock a bit as well. I mean, I'm fine with that.
yeah,
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 but yeah, there was this Giga Texas launch with a cyber rodeo, and everybody. I mean, most YouTubers or from the Tesla community, of course, are in the US, and many were there sharing their insights, and it really looked like a huge party, and everybody was getting together. Sometimes wondering how tall they are or how small, because mostly you're always just seeing that. But I think what I get from it is like these are really like-minded people who are there together like we do.
mm,
Even though you are in the UK, I'm in Germany, and we didn't know each other beforehand, we're
mm.
all we want to be part and be helping in this mission that Tesla does,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
this is really what
Tesla's
struck me,
extraordinary
right?
common ground for like you're saying, Julian, for like-minded people to to connect across the world, really.
Yeah,
But
it's.
anyway, you were saying, Julian.
I just wanted to say I would have loved to go there as well,
Me
but it
too.
wasn't possible.
Me too. Yeah, it looked awesome.
Yeah, I mean, oh, just the
Just
design of
yeah,
it, and
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It was a real. Oh, I wish I could be there.
yeah. Okay, I can see basically that we talked about like everything. Yeah, master plan part 3
Hmm.
is still not out there, but I think Elon has teased it a lot, like saying what is fundamentally needed to, um,
Yeah,
what did he say, increase the output of batteries. So
yeah,
mostly
yeah.
talking about how you can achieve this gargantuan amount of batteries, as he once called it, that
Yeah.
are needed to store the energy and also electrify all the vehicles.
Yeah. Actually, come back to Dojo there for a second. The Dojo
Oh
launch
yes,
was a big deal. Yeah. Hey, that and I suppose again you'd have to kind of get into a little bit of familiarity with the technical concepts and uh, factors behind just how significant the chips are that have been redesigned, the whole structure of Dojo.
Yeah, maybe
And
you can just briefly say what Dojo is.
yeah, so okay, so Dojo is a supercomputer. Basically, it's Tesla's answer to um, one of its use cases is you've got all of these cameras on all of these Tesla vehicles all over the place now, all over the world even. But let's just look at the states alone, right? And uh, you want to train FSD. You want to make FSD better and better and better. The the idea is you're going to be collecting, as we now know, over 400,000 FSD users in the states, and
Yeah,
their vehicles will be feeding Dojo. So Dojo will cope with the ever increasing amount of video data coming back from vehicles with all sorts of additional metadata describing various incidents or various um, issues or bugs or whatever whatever we want to describe them as, that use or edge cases, the March of Nines, unusual instances where you want to train FSD to be able to cope with unusual circumstances while these vehicles are driving on the road. And it strikes me that Dojo is kind of arrived just on time. It almost feels
yes,
as though, what would be the point of there being a huge stream of video data coming in and all of the potential benefit of using all of that data to train FSD being lost because we didn't have a computer strong enough to process all of that data? I think
yeah,
one of the on one of the releases they did discuss sort of some brief statistics about how much time it takes to process X amount of data, and how we would probably be sitting here for hundreds of years waiting for all the data, all of the relevant, waiting to harvest all of the benefit from processing all of that data.
yeah.
But now along comes Dojo. So yeah, that's a great image of it.
That's true. It's like these individual parts are called exapods,
Yeah,
and the the scalability that's like the basic um, kind of a basic, how can you say
yes,
this,
yes,
principle or the base of it. Yeah, um, saying if you have like a really dedicated chip towards training neural nets for
yeah,
navigating vision, like with cameras, what you can see and making sense
yeah,
of it all, uh,
yeah,
you cannot only build like one computer stack, but you need to really be able to just expand it indefinitely. So
yeah,
the more computers you build, the better and faster it scales up, and the better it learns, and the faster it learns, right? And I
yeah,
think this is
yeah,
really going back to Tesla's idea of scaling. They want to
yes,
scale that they cars like crazy. They want to scale their mega packs like crazy, making sure everybody has access to electricity and power all the time. But also for just it's kind of in the background. Most people don't even know what Dojo is or does. Um, but also having in mind like scaling this part of their business in terms of computing power, and that's why also some people say Tesla is not only hardware but really a software company. I love to call it like a AI robotics company, because once you have
technology
this,
company. Yeah,
once you have this AI part of it being solved due to their computers being really magnificent and their neural nets being trained on it, you really have the power of the software, the AI,
mm.
and which can then be transferred into any kind of robot. As Elon says, the Tesla cars are just robots on wheels,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's basically, I think, true for it. And yeah, I think it's hard to wrap your mind about around it
yeah.
if you're not that much into that field. But what I get, especially from James Sturmer, it's really like a big deal if it works out. But it's not 100% proven yet that this will work. But
Yeah,
optimistic.
it's yeah, exactly. It just feels like it's another stride forwards. And like Junior, like you saying, I think it was it James talked about this as well. I'm sure. and a number of people about the like FSD in a car moving along a road with a very kind of relatively rigid set of rules, of road rules, is actually significantly different to a robot sitting in a chair or standing at a station or standing in a kitchen, negotiating the situation the way we would as human beings.
Yeah.
And that is probably another good example of where you really need a lot of computing power to start to go on the sort of the march of nines that they're going to go on as they develop the Tesla bot to become useful to industry, useful to the economy. It needs to do a certain amount of thinking. It needs to be able to handle itself in in various situations, not just on a road like a car.
Yeah.
So suddenly it's the complexity just kind of blows your mind again.
Yeah, that's true.
But
I
yeah,
just found a note on the on Dojo. Actually, there was an announcement by Nvidia of a 100 tensor core GPUs for training AI data sets. Whole data sets, not only
cool.
just one tiny part, which costs around $10,000. And Dojo is able to do more auto labeling, so labeling everything you see, so doing it on its own instead of having people doing this, um, for less than six of these GPU boxes by NVIDIA. So what this
Yeah,
means
wow.
is that the networks, which used to take more than 1 month to train, are now being trained within less than a week,
Yeah,
which again accelerates the speed of how you can train your networks and how much safer you can make your cars and your full self-driving option of it.
yeah, exactly. Hey, so it's just another one of those they're attacking everything factors.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, was
Okay.
super thrilled to hear about its release.
Yes. So
Oh, and I think that sorry, one last thing was they were saying I think there was I remember someone was asking a question to say would they sell them to other companies, and I think that the point that we were getting to there was they're saying that they're probably going to keep them in house for for the to maximize their benefit essentially.
yeah, I mean, right now, if you're solving more and more of the street problem, once you start using Dojo for the Tesla bot, which navigates not the streets, but like
Yeah,
every environment that we humans walk on or sit in, like your office, for example, you need to have lots of more AI training so it can
yeah,
recognize all the small objects, for example, here on my shelf, what it
yeah,
is, how to grasp it, and so on, which is much more difficult than having like a road where you have cars and some bikes or pedestrians and so on, which are of course important, but you don't actually need to know like every little leaf that is
mm,
flying around the
mm,
street. Of course, you should be able to detect like debris on the road, but it doesn't need to be like to such a high level degree. Like you need to pick up a smiley, a small slip of paper, which
yeah,
is not needed. But yeah, they need all the computing power they can get, I think, for the foreseeable future, and
yeah,
that's why they will not release it like AWS services by Amazon.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
maybe in 10, 20 years, but who knows?
It might, yeah, exactly. It may be a contributor to some to concepts like the Internet of Things, which is essentially a concept around the physical world around us being sort of simulated
Yeah.
um, in cyberspace, um, and that you can probably appreciate is going to take quite a lot of quite a significant amount of computing power. And it's a shame that they wouldn't sell it because I'd love to have one for my own gaming PC at home. I don't know where I'd put it though, but yeah,
Yeah. Oh my God.
but yeah,
Okay, so
we'll
we're
just be watching
already
their
in
progress. Yeah,
1 hour. I think maybe we can wrap up our talk or review by just referring back to this year, last year, 2022, because this is when we started our channel. I apologize for this being all in German, so maybe to make it more
No worries.
accessible,
No worries.
I can just, yeah, do it in English now. So
Yeah.
yeah, this is our Tesla community channel. As you might know, as you're watching this, if there are any viewers, we got two. So yeah,
Yeah.
201 subscribers. Um, we're really appreciating all of you. Overall, cumulative, you have 4,200 views, which is, I think, as you told
Yeah.
us in the beginning, it is quite a stretch for us to have enough time for this, as we have families, full-time jobs, also some hobbies as well. And we're mostly doing this, after work in the evening. We need to
Yeah.
figure out times with people we talk to. And yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think maybe we can just go through the basic idea of it, and then have some look at the videos on the and just mentioning the people we talked to, just really appreciating all of them.
Yeah,
So yeah,
we've been really privileged to be able to talk to a few people along the way, and this really is a really is a it's a people's channel. It's a promotion of the general conversation. Like Julian's saying, we're just a couple of guys just wanting to just get involved and just contribute in the best possible way we can. So anyway, yeah, you were saying, Julian.
yes. So I just wanted to state again the idea of providing a platform for the people from the Tesla community who want to share their views and questions on Tesla's mission and things related. So really involving all the people that are there, because as I say here, the people are usually fans from the comment section. For example, like these big
Mm.
community personalities. So we actually want to invite everyone to join this conversation and promote the mission, because this is not about us as being content creators wanting to monetize our videos. I mean, it's nice if we can get like 20 euros a month to pay for the streaming service that we're using, but
But it
this
really
is
is,
not for
yeah,
financial gain, right?
yes,
And
yeah, exactly, exactly.
so
And yeah, sorry, you
you
were
were
saying.
saying,
Yeah, I was saying that and a really big thing that pops is everybody's opinion actually matters. It might sound like a bit cheesy, um, but we're all shy, we're all timid, we're all human. Um, Many of us probably have many times in the day when we think that our contribution actually, you know, does is insignificant. And I think one of the messages we're here to bring you guys, just as a couple of guys, is to say your opinion actually does matter. It actually does make a difference. It actually does impact the world around you. And we would love to share opinions with everybody out there and to encourage people to just jump in and just have your say. It's a brand new world we could be stepping into, and we are we are as thrilled as what seems to be a pretty significant growing number of people around the world for a better future, for just something that we can feel proud of giving to our kids. And yeah, that's like Julian's saying. This is sort of just a round off um, in this little recap of 2022,
yeah,
why we're doing what we're doing, and how thrilled we are to find the time to contribute as best we may.
that's right. So having a look at episode one, yeah, was with Alexandra Mertz and
Yeah,
Don, who were really sweet of joining us. Here's she's
yeah.
Alexandra Mertz is
Shout out to Tesla Boomer Mama and to
yeah,
Don.
that's like
It was
her
awesome having
go-to
you guys
name.
with us.
And
Yeah,
yeah, I think right after we talked, she kind of took off with her popularity in the community. She was pushing this ESG uh, stuff
theory. Yeah,
that
yeah,
was
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah,
benefiting companies who are not really into environmentally friendly production, but they are being marketed as such, drawing investments, especially for young people who just believe that it's true. But she got really into the weeds of it and yeah, exposed it.
yeah.
And yeah, but maybe it's also due to our talk that she got famous.
I think every little helps. Everybody chips in. Everybody,
Yes.
adds something to the mix. And yeah, it's been fascinating following Alexandra's material
Yeah,
and the
and she
conversations she's
came
been
on.
having with so many people. It's been
Yeah,
awesome.
she's so hyper interactive. It's really incredible. And yeah, she also came out to our second episode, where we also um, had Daniel from I think Switzerland,
Yeah,
where
yeah,
we talked about he just ordered a Model Y and the ordering process, how he took delivery and so on. So this experience is vital for users. I mean, we of course we want to see people adopt EVs. If it's a Tesla, it's even better, I think. But as I also drive one, but yeah, seeing that and having the people who are really interested in sharing their opinions as well. I mean, he's not active, I think, on Twitter. He does have a Twitter
yeah.
profile,
But
but
he
he's
was a regular guy who jumped
yes,
in with us, and it was and a great example of just everybody just joining in essentially, and it was awesome. Yeah,
absolutely. So yeah, of course, quite a highlight with Farzad on episode 3, who's I think going stellar right now with 40,000 subscribers on his channel.
yeah. 44.
44 already. Okay. Yeah, you know
Yeah,
the current numbers. And yeah, we really like to encourage
yeah.
everybody
Shout out to
watching.
Farzad.
Yeah, go join his channel. It's really he's really providing a lot of insights. Also, his idea or his he had a format where he still has it, where he just has people from his Patreon supporters join in for talks about the
Mm,
newest Tesla
mm.
um, developments. And I really found this so inspiring. That's why I actually founded this channel. And then just I think a day later, I found you on Twitter, and then we just came in talking
Yeah, yeah.
about it,
And
and then we did it.
yeah, exactly. And I share your level of inspiration that you've drawn from Farzad's example, essentially. And yeah, promoting the conversation. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
awesome catching up with Farzad. Yeah,
Then we got done again.
yeah,
And of course, Holmar's catalog, or Omar, who we already talked about, sharing his thoughts. And he even has a personal relationship to Elon, because of they were both uh, sued by some crazy
yeah.
guy.
They became friends under very interesting circumstances. But
Yeah,
yeah,
but
uh, it was yeah, it was
he's
again such
interacting
a
a lot
pleasure
with
to catch
Elon,
up with. Yeah,
and it was really sweet of him to do this. And
yeah, to take the time to come and talk to us was awesome.
yeah, and then we got the special episode on the women in the community, which was an idea I think I saw on Twitter. Why is that not happening? And especially Tesla Joy, she's hosting the Women of Tesla meetups. And I think there's one
Hmm.
upcoming in the next week or something in
Yeah,
LA. And yeah, of course, with
and
Jennifer
Jennifer.
being
Yeah,
like on her debut, on YouTube, and I think she's really comfortable with it now. She's starting her own channel, I think, or at least her podcast. And yeah, it's really nice to see that this also helps encourage people to go out there and do stuff uh,
yeah, yeah,
in the open, which can be scary, but actually it is worth it. And you can see this video is our most successful with 2,000 views, right?
yeah.
So it's
Exactly.
far
Yeah.
beyond anything else
So
that we've
thanks,
done.
Joy and Jennifer. Yeah, that was amazing. Yeah,
It has more views than all of the others combined. So yeah,
yeah.
these two ladies were really amazing.
It was a great
Yeah,
conversation. Yeah, yeah,
and of course, then Brad, we already talked about
yeah.
this episode. He's a pediatric emergency medicine
Physician in
physician,
LA.
yes.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
he really could share some insights on how safe vehicles can be, or what the issues are, um, and of course,
yeah. It was and it was a partly sobering conversation. Not the kind of thing everybody wants to talk about every day. But we felt it was necessary to catch up with professional like Brad, just to
Yes,
understand,
absolutely.
you know, a little bit more, a little bit better about, when Tesla come out and say that they're trying to uh, enhance safety and advance the world uh, acceleration towards sustainable energy and to a safe future. It's not a small undertaking to address matters like road accident
Yeah,
issues. And
and he
yeah,
sees them like
it
every
was
day.
stunning to have Brad with us for a spell. Yeah,
Yeah, a really a nice guy. And I mean, what I also love is the connection you built to these people, right? I mean, he even invited us once we were in LA, and he has a cyber truck. He will take us on a ride, and I'm sure he's a man of his word, and
totally, totally
I'll
looking
for
forward
sure
to
come
that,
by
Brad.
and do that. Maybe
Yeah,
not next year, but maybe in several years. With my family, we'll come by and have
when
like a
the
big
kids are grown up,
meetup.
we'll come around and come and visit. Yeah,
Yeah. And
but
of course,
yeah,
with Wanda, she's a materials engineer,
mm,
and we talked
mm,
about why Tesla is so appealing to it, and she shared some valuable
yeah.
insights.
And a
And
big shout out to Wanda.
yes,
Wanda was she's quite a she's quite a shy person, but she jumped in there with us. Yeah, sure, we had some technical difficulties and sound and whatnot, but Wanda was there, and it was so lovely to have her with us for that hour, and just dive into some engineering topics. And it was very enlightening to catch up with Wanda about her opinion and her position on various things like you say, materials engineer, yeah, materials engineering and other things that were sort of as it pertains to Tesla.
yeah, of course. And we had Jennifer on again, and we were talking about the catalyst of 2023.
Yeah,
And yeah, I think this will also a very enlightening episode because uh, we talked for 1 hour 15 minutes, and we were all on the same page that actually we need like 5 hours or something.
yeah, yeah,
But of course we get
yeah,
very busy
yeah.
throughout the day, so we had to wrap it up at some point. And yeah,
We have to
Jennifer
catch
is
up
really
with
awesome.
everybody again, basically.
Yeah,
A lot of the conversations they've just sort of kicked off, and it'll be so stunning if we can actually get to that point where we can pick up where we left off with everybody and just expand, like you're saying, Julian, just expand on topics that we have only really sort of scratched the surface of.
absolutely. And so the last one was with Remo, um, and
Yeah,
yeah,
Remo, what a guy! What a
yeah,
guy!
he's awesome. I'll also have an on my other podcast.
Mm,
So yeah, he used to have startups. He's into minimalism, Bitcoin, and so on as well. And yeah, you were not always
yeah,
there, as you can see in this
yeah,
thumbnail picture.
yeah.
But as we said, the three dads episode,
It's the
and you
hazard
had
of
to
having
fulfill your
children and
duties.
getting kiboshed in the middle of a video. Yeah,
Yeah, but
but
you
wow, how
came back
stunning
like
was
for
it?
the last minute or something.
Just for the last moment to say bye. Yeah. Well, we're stunning to catch up with Remo, at least and also there as well. Just sort of kick the conversation with Remo off, and you know,
Yeah,
touch wood. We'll catch up with Remo again.
and he went on such a rant when he talked about the 2023 uh, outlook. I think it was really amazing of him to share this, and he also shared this whole episode on his channel,
Yeah, awesome,
which is
awesome.
really lovely of him.
Yeah, and that's such a nice thing to see around various channels that touch on topics around Tesla. Um, uh, Most often, there really is a sense of community among so many people, and even the content creators themselves. It's so nice to see everybody collaborating.
Yeah,
You know, you would think, okay, well, if we were monetizing and we were all competing channels, that would be sort of maybe the traditional way to look at content creation for the sake of making money. But so many of these guys just are, they're joining forces. They and sharing ideas across channels, and that's another really nice and encouraging kind of development. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah,
And a fun fact: his uh, video has more videos than our one. So he has like 132 views, and ours got 98, which is nice. Thumbs up.
no,
I'm not
awesome.
saying.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we're students of guys like Remo and Farzad, and Zach and JC and all those guys out there. They've just dedicated so much incredible time and
Yeah,
effort to getting to the heart of things, and getting to the truth of the matter, and sharing that, um, regardless of the naysayers, or or anyone that might cast negative dispersions on them. Having the courage to step out there and say something about it, and it really is. This is just a chance for us to also say hats off to all of these YouTubers for everything they've been doing to share this information and to um, enlighten all of us, really, and give us
yeah,
all an opportunity to actually learn what's really going on, and to potentially get on board with creating a better world.
absolutely. So lovely last words. Maybe one more shout out to my brother. Thanks for creating the backdrop here,
Absolutely,
and the
absolutely,
logo, and also the intro video. Uh, so I think he did a stellar job. I mean, this is the actual sky above my house, on a flat
awesome.
where I live, and yeah, a shot. This is a real shot by NASA.
NASA, yeah, nice.
So shout out to them.
Yeah. Shout out to NASA as well.
So
Oh,
this is
awesome.
composed by him, and here he's really I think he did a great job with that.
Yeah, no,
So
totally. Hats off to your brother. That's a really, really um, nice image. That.
yeah, okay,
All
Claude.
right.
So I think we can wrap up this episode of the 2022 recap, and of course also being proud of the achievement we had, even though yeah we still have some struggles with always making time to have our talks. And we
Yeah,
planned
exactly.
this talk for like one month, and then our kids were sick, we were sick,
Yeah.
work came in the way and everything. So, but we did it right now.
Yeah, we're gonna just keep going the best way we can,
Yeah,
and touch wood, try and get better and better, and bring you guys more and more value. But
absolutely.
yeah, yeah, and thank you to everybody for taking the time to to watch even part of our or any of our videos. Totally appreciate it. We look forward to watching your videos just as much.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Okay, guys. So have a nice day or evening wherever you
Yeah.
are.
And see you
Consider
next time.
joining us for a talk. Reach out to us on Twitter, and have a great day.
Yeah. See you guys next time.